So thank you very much for the invitation to participate in this conference today. Very a pleasure to present Canadian cases around the resilience and the work that we do with cluster here around. Well, we are all working with COVID recovery since 2 years, so the presentation is really aligned with building the resilience and the capacity of cluster and territories. So I will just jump in and I'll try to make it in the appropriate time. I have more slides than needed, but it will be for you to consider after. So I will use 3 cases of cluster project here to demonstrate how we have been working in Canada to support SMEs, mostly SMEs which are working under a cluster network or under a trade association organization. So this one is really, this project is funded by the Protein Industry Canada Supercluster, and it's really aligned with the conference team because it's funded by the Ecosystem Capacity Building Program of the Supercluster. The 5 Supercluster all have that funding stream. The first one is for innovative project. The second one is what we call ecosystem capacity building. So it's really about the structural activities that cover the entire ecosystem. So this project is unifying all the province in Canada, which is by mean already a capacity building to have all the province cooperate for the resilience of the food processing sector. So it's really about the creation of a national sector-wide platform where each provinces are using our technology to connect themselves into a supermarket, which is first horizontal, where each province can trade together and exchange and find different suppliers alongside their value chains. But it's also aimed to international and connect Canada to the world, because supercluster, as you might have seen in the last days, are coming globals. So now that the platform is used by each province, the Canada will invite other countries and other regions of the world to use the technology. So by the technical bridge, the digital bridge, we will create new economic corridor and hopefully new knowledge corridor. So in its transition, it will cover more than the food processing sector. It's aimed at embedding from field to fork. From the development of crops in the protein industry, developing new ingredients that will be embedded in future food processed product are the main goal of this. While doing that is to ensure the resilience, the agility of the sector along the way. It's also include a green transition tool, which is a Circle, which is our circular economy industrial synergy functionality, which is deployed under this project. So it's about helping and supporting SMEs. It's really about global disruption. This project started 2 days after the closure for COVID. There was an urgency war room about food processing in Canada, and we have been glad to be part of it with our first-time partner, which is the Quebec Food Processing Council that use our technology since 2018. So the contribution of the project is really about, it's called the Food Convergence Innovation, FCI. So it's really about helping for supply chain disruption at first, helping to find new potential supplier, potential customer as well, but in a way that help you to be more agile. If there's closure, illness in abattoir, slaughterhouse, to be able for you to find a new capacity so you can fulfill your need, and hopefully the final customer, us, will eat food that is needed, food which is good for our health and sustainable for the planet. That's the whole food convergence approach that we use there. Market access, horizontal, vertical, it's about connection, helping them to fulfill their needs. So we really attach supply and demand in developing data and big data analysis over time. It's really aimed at helping them to use innovation to drive insight, and from insight to drive innovation. Project started in Quebec long times ago, but in June 15, 2 weeks ago, with the Ministry of Agriculture, Food Processing and Fishery, we have deployed Circle in Quebec as the first circular economic tool in Quebec. And we are expanding that use over Canada in the next few weeks and months. All provinces have access to it. We're just training every people and connecting 15,000 organizations together to make that big thing work. At the end, from field to fork, we're looking at 150,000 organizations connected within the 10 platform. And we're also looking to embed the HRE sector, which is hotel, restaurant, and institution, people needing food in the tourism sector as well, because for us, it's really HRE sector represent 35% of the food processing that is eaten each day to fulfill the consumer needs of food. 35% will pass through hotel, restaurant, and institution to be transformed and to be served to people every day. So it has been started in Quebec, but we work with the University of Ottawa and the University McGill, both business school, Telford Business School in Ottawa and the Desautels School of Management attached to McGill. And they are with us, the three, Divisio and McGill and Ottawa are the three project leader and manager of this 2.4 Canadian million worth of project. A bit of slide of how it looked like for Quebec. All platform, each province have their own branding, so they can support their territorial attractiveness during the project as well. Some feature that I will pass along, it's part of the presentation. The big part of this is about increasing the resilience using collaboration. Circle is a marketplace, like you will find a different marketplace out there, but it's really a marketplace that helps you to characterize and assess the total opportunity in terms of cost, total landing cost, but also be able to assess the opportunity of how I can reuse an output of production to create a synergy with another SME, a synergy that will increase resiliency maybe, but also innovation to capture new value alongside the waste reduction objective, the green transition objective. There's so much value in the usage of resources, especially if you go biomaterial, you will need bio stuff, and people that are in the material sector, which may be two different sector that are not showing at the same trade show at the end of the day. So how can we help them to be more efficient, to diminish waste, and to increase their own competitivity in terms of productive system? The component of Circle is really there to help them exchange products, strategic asset, but also to collaborate using the challenge part of the functionality. We manage different type of challenges. There are about all the SME function, if you're talking productivity, human resources, organizational problem, so they can really characterize that, and the people can really in the community raise the end for a project that is really about their expertise, or I have been there once, I can help you just to a bit. This is the trajectory ahead that you will pass through. Type of action supported by Circle, I'll be very fast on it, but excess volume, opportunity for transportation, less than full truckload, aggregate volume for purchasing group, call for purchasing group. We want to purchase this kind of metal. Who wants it? Who want to go in Japan? Who want to go in Australia? Taiwan, and then we can consolidate shipment or try to see if we can work with the same distributor or the same agent, because we also tackle some SMEs information about that. It's all integrated in the same platform. So when we create partnership, the partnership enables Quebec to bring Ontario data, which are under the partnership visibility, into his own platform, reinforcing the membership in Quebec, giving value to the membership of Quebec, because by their membership, they have access to another one without a fee. So that's really about helping the global connection of cluster. By this mean, with my dollar invested in FIAL or in one cluster whatsoever, I have the value to be access the other cluster ecosystem and players and so on. still some slide shot here that you will be. Things about the project is that we are creating, really, it's the name, it's a dictionary of KPIs. So here you have ours, so I can share, but we are developing with Louise Earle from the University of Ottawa. She was one of the key players in StatCan for about 30 years, and I'm working every day with her. So we're building something interesting in that, and it's all automatics. We have a dynamic profile. We have the same for circle to increase the marketplace in that term, but it's really about being able to monitor the performance of SMEs using location data about R&D, employment, and so on. We're tackling since last week seasonal employment, because there's a lot of problem for our seasonal crew coming in with COVID and so on. So we're developing a new functionality for them to analyze the problematic and to monitor people entering Canada or in Quebec for season, and if they goes out and if everything is going well. Human rights as well have some issues sometimes. We have seen many cases, even in Canada, of people coming in, being stopped with COVID and being let in poor condition. It happens everywhere. It doesn't to be in a developing countries. When you let things happen, they happen. So second project I want to, some of you might have also seen before, but what we try to do with the platform is to agglomerate business information to develop, or business intelligence to develop ecosystem intelligence. So in these cases, the National Research Council of Canada, the greatest public research organization in Canada in terms of funding and human resources, is characterizing SMEs in the protein industry sector. Should be 15,000 at the end, there's 1,000 at this moment, but they are characterizing them in terms of their potential contribution to each field or thematic of the protein industry sector strategy. So it's really about the tower being do the assessment of who can contribute in which project, in which objective, and they inform everybody, but they know who to call. Less resources, we help them to take, when you have so many thousand of enterprise, you need at least to know who called first. So that's for the rating of, I call that group first and then email to everyone. The last one is about the resilience of something that we all have everywhere. It's the food we eat, and it's about the food security. So vulnerable people are the first which are impacted by global disruption facing food system. And in this case, with the health ministry and the agriculture ministry and some social organization, my region, I gather around the 13 organizations that are in charge of food security for citizens. And we have embedded in a platform where we have connected 7 sectors together, as we do with partnership. So, we have created a special platform for them where we analyze food desert when they then tackle decision into a decision tree that was inserted in the platform. So it's not about just mapping, it's really about the strategy, the objective, and this part here. All the systems that have been put together are really about increasing the work of every people together. So there's nothing less on the table, reducing food waste, but be sure that we are using all resources, equipment based as well, to really highlight strategic asset that might be under closure during COVID, or something could stop because of illness of their people. We'll stop after this one. This is an interesting one. We have been talking about this way of tackling strategy when we were in Bilbao with the policy workshop. This really is aligned with what we have seen there with trends, where you can embed in your strategy determinant, which are different layer of action in your strategy, to be sure that you have ecosystem building action, which is this one, the structural part, and you go to individual, passing through intermediary measure in your development. So it's really about stakeholder analysis, highlighting by promoting the mobilization of your cluster, will support cluster effect, and will convince the other one to join your network and make things happen with cooperation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Vincent. Thank you very much. Thank you for also raising what we learned in Bilbao in this policy workshop. Actually, there is yours is a very concrete solution for clusters that I think is very useful also to understand the connections with the broader ecosystem of the clusters that we see is something very necessary to understand the current times, I would say, of these transitions, more cluster collaboration, as Merete was saying at the beginning, and all these connections also to the world. Thank you very much. Any questions for Vincent so far? Okay. If you have any during the session, just let us know, okay? And we try again, Mirjana. And now I can see you perfectly. I hope we can hear also you well. No, but it's frozen. Can you hear us, Mirjana? No, she went down. Okay, no problem. Let me know if you have any questions to our speakers. Otherwise, I come with some of them. With Vincent and Tony, I think, well, it's a question for both of you. What do you think is the most challenging pressure now for SMEs to proceed with this more green transition, and how they should be collaborating to bring all these challenges that you have put so well? What do you think is the easiest way for an SME to go to become more sustainable and more more circular, let's say? Who wants to start?
If I may, what we've seen so far, because yesterday I was with all the provinces and we have a steering committee. I've about 3 meetings with them every week. So actually, it comes a bit with what Tony was showing about the 2015, the slide of our, I think it was Sloven. I might misspelling his name. Sorry, but yes, I know him too. And it's about the gap and it's about the bridge builder. So yesterday we were talking about connectors. So connectors in Canada, how we can place people that we bridge Ontario with Maritimes and Quebec with BC. It's about people. I do a lot of technological transfer, but at the end of the day, a bit is done by work. There's a handshake, and science, technology needs a bit of love to help them to connect. And I guess clusters are, for us, they are the one who spin the wheel of circular economy. It does not happen by itself. The platform doesn't run the show. It's there to support. It's a connector. It's pooling the resources. It make it visible. But at the end of the day, you need someone to get it afloat, to a beamer, to adjust and to realign the flow. It needs people for sure.
Thank you, Tony.
Yeah, and I have to say that for at least for Taiwan, awareness is still a big problem, because it's quite hard for us to convince the SMEs to let them understand that go green is very important. They still think, oh, I still need to, my priority is earning money. My priority is acquiring more customer. Go green, that's the secondary. So it's really hard for us to let them understand why we need to do that, and why we need to use more digital tools to decrease or reduce the carbon, something like that. So I think I would say that education and the training still would be the most important step for Taiwan government and for the Taiwan industries. Yeah.
Thank you, Tony. Ken, you have a question?
From Ken, yes, I read the question from Ken concerning the side of SMEs. Yes, at this point, we have 15,000 SMEs in the Canadian, let's say, national-wide platform, if we count them all together. And the way it works is, it's really, yes, there's two things. When we're talking with the province, they're talking marketing. Okay, if you're talking marketing, is that you're going to do a top-down. If you're doing mobilization, you're going to do a bottom-up. And this is really where we're working with them. And what is interesting, and when we provide a dynamic profile of all sectors and all industry, if you're just in Quebec, 24 sector, but more than 120 industry within what we are providing in terms of splitting all the stakeholder analysis of the ecosystem. But what is interesting is that they have for 10 years of meeting for them, they can aggregate and say, okay, the ingredient manufacturer of Quebec, commercial bakeries in Ontario, we do a joint capacity meeting. And then we do fleet manager in Moncton that we attach to the people in BC that do something else. So just by working with the supply and demand in small group, not the 15,000, no. It's by small group. I believe in working group condition, and then they will spill over to the others. Yes, this is a champion group that initiate and do the rest for they open the trail for the others.
Thanks. I'd like to add, it's a lonely life sometimes being an SME, and I think one of the functions as well as capacity building that you can provide is to actually have create a support structure and I think that's a great value in network. And yes. I think that I'm really interested to see how the smaller businesses value that. So you obviously have enough who really do value it if you have 15,000 members. So good.
Yeah, but what is good is that they are the member of the association. For us, we use what we call the PRISM strategy. I work with one cluster and he has 1,000 company. And we have access to the 1,000, bringing in functionality that bring value to the cluster as an additional digital service. Yeah. So it's really the case.
No, great stuff. Thanks. It's a really interesting, just to see how the group can build its support and mutually support as well. So I think it's really keen to see it in action. Thanks so much. And it alludes very much to what Tony was saying as well. I appreciate it. Okay.
That was a good study done by Orvan.
Yeah.
Thank you both, Vincent and Tony. More questions today?